About a month ago, I posted a video about trying out Star Wars The Old Republic again after it failed to grab me at launch in 2011. I've been playing a few BioWare games lately, like Mass Effect 3 and Anthem, so I decided to give the game another shot as it was free to play. Cut to about a month later, and my little video about giving Star Wars The Old Republic a shot is now the highest viewed video on my channel by far. Also, not sure if anyone knows this, but apparently you don't have to use Origin to install the game. First of all, thanks everyone for your feedback. Per the majority suggestion, I have decided to start a playthrough with the Imperial Agent, and I'll get into my thoughts on it soon. For now, though, I need to get something out of the way as I want to be upfront with you all about what this channel is. I'm really happy that you all enjoyed my previous Old Republic video, and I'm not blind to the huge amount of attention that video got compared to the rest of my channel. With that being said though, this is not a Star Wars The Old Republic channel. I enjoy playing this game, but I am not going to be covering any game exclusively. Just making that clear for anyone who is subscribing, as while I do appreciate subs, I don't want you to be subscribing for the wrong reasons. I definitely have a strong interest in Star Wars games in general, so you will see Star Wars games in the future, hint hint, but I will not be deep diving into The Old Republic. Just making that clear. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's talk Imperial Agent. This class came recommended to me because of a point that I made in my previous Old Republic video regarding Chosen One narratives. I'm kind of tired of being some kind of preordained hero that was always meant for greatness. With that said, the Imperial Agent is almost the exact opposite of that. You start off the game with your mentor, Keeper, telling you that you are essentially the Sith Empire's janitor. The Sith do the frontline fighting while you work in the background to ensure that the Empire doesn't fall apart because of any of the decisions made by the Dark Council. Being an Imperial Agent is a thankless job, and the Sith very much regard you as an inferior to them. This is made pretty apparent when you meet Darth Jadis for the first time, who, while recognizing your merits, does have this air of superiority to him. You definitely get the sense that if you don't kneel when he says to kneel, then he will either make you kneel with the Force, or just run you through with a lightsaber. While you are looked at by the Sith as some sort of armed sanitation worker, the work that you do for the Sith Empire is important. Take your introductory mission for example. A ceasefire and a very tenuous truce has been called between the Empire and the Republic. The Empire is using this time to forge alliances with anyone that can be swayed and ultimately controlled. You arrive on Hutta to persuade one of the prominent cartels there to side with the Empire. Knowing that you won't be able to just walk in there as an Imperial agent and start negotiating, you decide to pose as a famous mercenary. It's here that you see the talent of the agent, altering his accent from the British-like accent of the Empire to a more American-like accent to avoid suspicion.
If there's another red blade out there, won't that be a problem? It's been good business, and the government hasn't given me much trouble.
It's pretty well done, and props to the voice actor on this, as it's definitely a believable change in accent. I really like what's happening here with the Imperial Agent. The game is showing you a character that is building themselves up from nothing. The agent doesn't have the Force to fall back on if they get themselves into a bad situation, just their skills with words and a gun. I'm reminded of the Trooper in that regard, and I don't know, maybe I just have a soft spot for the non-Force sensitive characters in the Star Wars universe. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Jedi and Sith, but I can't help but want to cheer on those that don't have Force powers, as they are at a pretty big disadvantage overall. Basically what I'm trying to say, everyone, is that EA needs to greenlight a Star Wars Imperial Commando game right now. Don't at me. Another thing that I enjoy about the Imperial Agent campaign is the exploration of the different Sith-controlled worlds. When I think of the Sith Empire, I immediately think of Korriban, as it is the staple of the Empire in KOTOR 1 and 2. It's dark and dreary, nothing is growing, and the sky is blood red. While the starting world you're put on, Hutta, isn't much better than Korriban, the game actually doesn't send you to Korriban immediately after completing your job on Hutta. You instead return to Dromund Kaas, and I literally can't say that without slipping into a little bit of a British accent. Dromund Kaas is a very different planet compared to Korriban. There are lush forests and thriving wildlife all over the place. Granted, said wildlife is very large, intimidating, and dangerous, but it is there. Kaas City is a very clean-looking environment to the point where your companion from Hutta wants to burn it all down just by looking at it. It very much looks like a city where people other than Sith Lords would live. The city is unmistakably an Imperial city, though. One cannot simply just waltz into the Imperial or Sith Command towers off the street. You have to take a special taxi to get up there, though you can just fast travel back after unlocking it. The point is, though, that this is designed to give the towers a sense of superiority to the rest of the city. One can imagine that you must have certain clearances to even board the taxi that takes you up there, so it implies superiority with its exclusivity. While it isn't a Chosen One narrative really, there still is a hero's journey going on here, and our call to action comes in form of a terrorist attack that results in the death of a member of the Dark Council. It then falls on you to investigate the attack and topple the terrorist cell which is spreading throughout the galaxy. You are redesignated as Cypher 9, Would have preferred Cypher Rage, to be honest.
Denied!
You are then given probably one of the coolest looking personal starships that I've seen in the game so far. I'm sure there are cooler ones out there, but this is a big step up from the Jedi Consular and Trooper ships. It reminds me of Darth Maul's ship from the prequels or the Corvus from the new Battlefront 2. This is something that I didn't bring up in the last video, but I love the fact that we have our own personal ship, kind of like a mini Normandy. The only thing that I think is missing is a personal space on the ship, like a captain's quarters or something like that. If there is one and I missed it, my bad, but it isn't really clearly pointed out if it exists. As far as combat goes for the agent, it's pretty much the same as the trooper as far as I can tell. Effective at range and has a few gadgets and abilities to help when enemies get in their face. I don't really have a preference in MMOs when it comes to this for whatever reason. Close range, long range, it doesn't really matter. Oh, and by the way, thanks to the people who recommended adding more quick bars. It makes combat so much easier. So here's the burning question. Will I continue with the Old Republic in any sort of serious way after this? Well, I know myself pretty well now when it comes to games like this, and I just can't promise that I'll be going much further than this. With it being in the middle of the holiday season, there are a bunch of other games that I want to play, one actually being another Star Wars game, hint hint again. Is it possible that I'll get hooked and play a lot more? Yes, of course, but again, I'm trying to manage expectations here as I am just one guy who likes to make videos about games that interest me. But for now, if you like this video, then please give it a like and leave a comment for me down below if you have any thoughts about this. Subscribing is also appreciated. Until next time, happy gaming and may the Schwartz be with you. Later.